What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of my Pick-Ems for the PGL Major Copenhagen 2024. Now we are looking at, what is the stage name? Legend stage. So we got the last few results from the Challenger stage with, well, in the last game, Furia beating Saw. I didn't get enough in terms of Pick-Ems. I got Cloud9 3-0 correct. Then I had Heroic going through, but they went 3-0. I had EF going 3-0, but they only went through. I didn't get either of these 3-1s. Then I did have Furia going through and Mongols going through, so I had Koi not going through. So I got 4 correct, I believe. So I got Koi, Mongols, Furia, and Cloud9. It's really, really difficult, I think, to get 5 correct, honestly. Like, you need to get a bit lucky, especially with the 3-0-3-1 or 3-0-3-2. Like, it's very difficult to tell who's gonna go 3-0 exactly, for example. Whereas I think predicting the 0-3 was a lot easier for, at least a bit easier. I think Amokalkoi, then Lin Vision, who went 1 and 3, I guess, and then I had Legacy, but they actually did a bit better. I was also thinking about Legacy going 0-3. But okay, let's go Legend stage. I haven't actually looked at this bracket at all already. So we're gonna get some very fresh opinions from me here. FaZe Clan Heroic should go to FaZe Clan. Spirit, Cloud9. I think Spirit is probably the best team going into this tournament. Vitality EF is actually pretty interesting, but Eternal Fire did look a bit shaky. I have to kind of, I think, remember the fact that in majors past and other events of this kind, where there is kind of a qualifying stage, oftentimes the team that has played before will have a slight edge, just because they've kind of been at the setup already. They are already warmed up, if you will. So I think this is actually a pretty close game between Vitality and EF, even though I think Vitality is the better team. And I do think they are going to win, but I think Eternal Fire is at least going to make it close. I think the difference between Mouse and Ecstatic is too big and they should win. But I think, honestly, Complexity, Pain, like Complexity haven't looked that impressive. They barely made it through the RMR. They only lost to teams like Furia. They aren't looking that great. Pain have actually looked pretty decent. They went 3-1, right? They went 3-1. Bigusera is looking really strong. I'm actually going to give the edge to Pain here. I know that might be a bit of an, like, I'm not sure if everyone's going to agree with me there, but I do think they are slightly favored even, I think. Pain have looked really impressive, especially Bigusera, of course, but just in general also. And Complexity haven't, so I think there's a very... It could go either way, but I do kind of favor Pain slightly. VP Imperial. I think VP should have this one. Navi Mongols. Navi should be the better team, although even, like, as a Navi fan, I have to, like, be realistic and say that there is an upset chance there, just because Mongols also look a bit warm. They reverse swept, so they have momentum going into this stage, but I do think that that Navi should have it. And then G2 Furia, I would say G2 also, although Furia also reversed. I do think G2 is the favorite. I would actually say maybe Heroic is also like a team that could pull off an upset. I think FaZe Clan is the sort of team that could get into this major and be kind of cold on their feet at the beginning, like Heroic having played the last stage and gone 3-0 could be good. I also don't quite understand why the seeding works like this, where FaZe Clan and Heroic play against each other and not FaZe Clan against Furia. Like, why do Heroic and Cloud9 have to play against these better teams here? It's a weird Swiss system. I mean, Swiss system usually would be the other way around, right? I believe. But okay. It's how it is. And then round 2, FaZe Clan Pain. I think FaZe Clan should win. It's probably only... it actually changed quite a bit who plays who, but okay. I would say FaZe Clan probably favored here. Team Spirit versus G2, I would say favored. Vitality versus Na'Vi should be favored as well. And then Mouse VP is very close, but I would give the slight edge to Mouse just based off how good they've been looking. Complexity Furia, I would give the edge again to Furia, I think. I'm just not very convinced by Complexity recently, and Furia at least pulled off the kind of reverse sweep, and they beat Saw, who have been in form. So maybe there's something to be said about Furia still. They've shown, at least, if nothing else, some pretty good mental going 0-2 and then 3-2. Heroic should beat Mongols, yes. Cloud9 should beat Imperial. And Eternal Fire should beat Ecstatic. I think those are pretty... like, the favorites are pretty clear-cut. Then round 3, FaZe Clan Mouse, Team Spirit Vitality. I would say, I mean, to me, FaZe Clan and Spirit are the two strongest teams going into this. And then Vitality as a third. Where I think Vitality is slightly less stable as a team. In a bit more variance in my eyes. But I would say those are the favorites. G2 should beat Pain. VP is stronger than Furia. Na'Vi EF is super close again, like just like Vitality EF was earlier. But I would say Na'Vi still are favorites going into that one. But it's not like clear cut at all, I think. Just like Heroic Cloud9 isn't. Both teams going 3-0 in the last stage, so we've seen them play very well. I might give the slight edge to Heroic, just because they have an actual AWPer, and we've seen that sometimes be the downfall for Cloud9. And then I'd say Mongols beats Ecstatic. The Complexity probably beats Imperial, but even this could be, honestly, it could be a Complexity 0-3 kind of major. I would not be very surprised by this at all. Like, Imperial have also looked pretty damn impressive in comparison to what I perhaps would have expected. I don't know. I did see them as a potential to go through, but I'd say Complexity are slight favorites here. In my Pick-Ems, Ecstatic is probably 0-3, and then it's between these two. This could also go either way, but I do think Mongols is slightly stronger in my eyes. Vitality VP, honestly, could be a VP angle here. I think I would favor Vitality slightly. Here I would also favor Mouse, yes. Even though as a Na'Vi fan, I really hope they make it through before the 2-2 stage. G2 Heroic. It should be G2 making it through there. I mean, just the names on the team are so strong. Then Pain Mongols. Very close. I think I give a slight edge to the Mongols still. Like, even though Pain looked better probably in the last stage. Maybe it's Pain, maybe I'm overthinking. I'm not sure about that. Cloud9 should beat Complexity, and Eternal Fire should beat Furia in my eyes as well. That would give Na'Vi Cloud9 here. That's actually so heartbreaking if this happens. And then VP should beat Pain, Heroic should beat EF, I guess. Very close again. So many close matchups, I think. I would give the edge to Na'Vi over Cloud9. So that would give me this as my Pick-Ems. Honestly, not bad Pick-Ems. I would say all of these teams are very capable of going through. And then there's a couple outside teams here. This is like a very cookie cutter predictions. There's a couple spicier ones I've gone for, but for example, I think generally I'm just going with the favorites, except I think Complexity going into this major I don't feel so highly about. And because of that, I have them going 1 and 3. Also, I'm going to do Pick-Ems through the HLTV page now that they have this implementation. This would mean this was FaZe and Spirit. This is just the highest ranked teams except for Complexity going through and Heroic instead. And then, well, not Furia, but I had Ecstatic and Imperial, I believe, at 03. I could, just for the fun of it, honestly go Complexity 03. I didn't buy the pass. I'm only playing for bragging rights. I'm just doing this just for the heck of it. And also to kind of aid my fantasy picks. But I'll go for Complexity 03 just because I think it's actually pretty close between Complexity and Imperial here. And I just have no expectations for Complexity going into this. I think I'm going to save and sync here. Very nice. Now I should have picks in the game. I guess as a recap for my fantasy picks, I think Base Clan, Spirit, I would say all of the 3-0 and 3-1 teams are the ones I would consider for the most part. It's too difficult to say who's gonna go 3-0, and who's gonna go 3-1, even who's gonna go 3-2. Like, those are just too hard as predictions to make. So I think just go for players from a couple of the best teams in your opinion. Like maybe 4 or 5 best teams in the event, and hope that they go 3-0 or 3-1 and get good points. I think that's my guidance for this one. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this kind of content. If you do, I usually post fantasy lineups for HLTV Fantasy for every non-partner game. So if you play fantasy, there's going to be a second video later today with my fantasy picks, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.